Hello, everyone. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at how to enable end-to-end encryption from an admin perspective, and also how the end user can schedule a meeting with end-to-end encryption enabled. First, we're going to look at a Webex site that is managed from Control Hub. I'm sharing my Control Hub admin page. I'm logged in to org, and I'm looking at an end user configuration. Then I'm going to go here to the meetings option here, and it's going to list here all the Webex site that's associated with the org. And this is the specific one that is enabled for end-to-end encryption. So when you click on it, you're going to see various session types. The one that specifically enables end-to-end encryption is this one here. As mentioned in the documentation, the name will change at GA, but it's the same name that's used today for encryption as well. But in the backend, we have enabled the new feature. So when you make sure the end users have the session type and they schedule a meeting, that will be enabled for end-to-end encryption. So from a Control Hub managed site, you will go under the end user and enable the user for the session type. You can also use the bulk option to enable multiple users. That's also possible. Next, we're going to look at a site admin managed Webex site. So this one is managed from site admin. Some of you might be familiar if you have a Webex site that's still managed from your site admin. You go search for the user, and under the user, one of the session type is the session type that we need. In this case, this one right here. We click here, and then the type number is 1561. In case if we're going to use the bulk CSV to update the session type, that is the type number. And the name, as mentioned here, this will change before GA. So during beta, this is the name you will see for end-to-end encryption. So you can enable the user individually from the admin page. Once you're happy and you want to do a bulk, then you can do the CSV bulk import as well. So those are the two admin tasks from a Control Hub perspective. If a site is managed through Control Hub, and if it's managed from site admin, then you would do it from the site admin. Once you have enabled the session type for the end user, then when the end user wants to schedule a meeting, then they can select the session type, and meeting will be scheduled as end-to-end encrypted meeting. In addition to the session type, and if you have devices in your organization like Desk Pro and the devices that are supported for end-to-end encryption, then you do need to make sure that the channel is set to beta channel for the end users. They have the personal mode devices. Under here, you can see the software upgrade channel is set to beta. And if you have a shared device, then you would need to make sure that shared device also has the channel set to beta as well. So those are the admin level configuration. From an end user perspective, they have a couple of options. One, they could change their default scheduling session type to end-to-end encrypted if needed. That's what I'm going to quickly go through here. Under preferences, when you log into your Webex site and you go under preferences, you can see there is an option to change my session type to end-to-end encryption, and I click save here. What this does is anytime I start my personal meeting room, then my personal meeting room will be scheduled with end-to-end encryption enabled. The second thing that you could do is when you schedule a meeting, you can select end-to-end encryption from here. You can also save this as a template. Save as template here. Again, some customers don't allow end users to create a template, but if you have an option in your organization to allow end users to create the template, then you could save as a template. And don't select this because that will save it as a default for the org. So I can say end-to-end. End. Say OK. Now this is saved as a template, and if you go under preferences and scheduling here, and this is the template I just created, and I can make this template as default. What this does is, if you are going to use in-app scheduler from your Webex app, then those meetings will also use end-to-end encryption, right? So from a scheduling perspective, end users have three options. One, they log into their Webex site and come here and they would schedule a meeting from here. That is one option, right? And manually select the end-to-end encryption session type. Second is when they schedule a meeting from Outlook, they do have an option to select this session type as well. So if I click here under my preferences, I can see my default template that I created is already selected, and I click on Add Webex Meeting. And you can see this session type will also be changed. So this is the second option, scheduling the meeting from the Outlook scheduler. The third option is the in-app scheduler. So for the in-app scheduler, we do not have a drop-down option where you can select what session types you want. So in order to be able to schedule a end-to-end encrypted meeting from in-app scheduler, we need to make sure the default template is set to end-to-end encrypted, or any name that you chose with the session type here. And then from that point on, if I schedule a meeting from my in-app scheduler, those meetings will also be end-to-end encrypted. So just to recap, from an admin perspective, you have two tasks. One, you need to make sure the session type for the end user is set to the new session type. If it's a site admin managed, then it would be 1561 Pro end-to-end encryption. And if it's a control hub, then you would do it under the end user, select the user and then the meeting site and then the session type. Second one is the beta channel that I just showed earlier. So you need to make sure the devices are in the beta channel. And then from an end user perspective, they can schedule meetings directly from the Webex site or from Outlook or from in-app scheduler. Only caveat for the in-app scheduler is you need to make sure you have a default template that is configured to use the end-to-end encryption. Hopefully this video was useful, and please post your feedback and comments in the community, and we'll follow up on any issues. Thank you.